So I'm a big movie guy. You probably can tell that from my introduction. I love movies. I've always loved movies. I particularly like when my wife said to me, "What's your favorite kind of movie?" And my answer was, "I don't really know. I kind of like all kinds of movies." And I thought about it. My favorite kind of movie is a triumphant movie, where someone in an underdog position triumphs, or somebody in an unreasonable position succeeds. That's what I love. Most people, when they think about being bold, this is what they think of. We'll come back to that. This is what they think of. They think of daring some great deed. They think of climbing some great mountain. They think of reaching some unreachable height. When for most of us, this is bold. Simply admitting to ourselves what we really look like in the mirror. So what I want to do this morning is I want to take the idea of being bold and take each of those movie clips and break them down a little bit and understand what we learn from those movies that can inspire us to be bold. So let's start with the first one, Dead Poets Society. We must constantly look at the world in a different way. Now, I had intended to have you all stand up on your chairs. OSHA said that's probably not acceptable for a room of 1,600 people to stand up on their chairs. You who are watching from home, by the way, this is our first live streaming event that we've ever done. Hello, all of you who are viewing at home. If you want to get up on your couches, that's totally up to you. We won't stop you. Why is he having them get up on the desk like that? He says, you must constantly look at the world in a different way. I wish sometimes that you could see what I see. That you could see who you are becoming. The strength and the power and the numbers that you have. The ability that you have to reach out and touch people in a much deeper and more successful way than we could if we were just selling product. We're not. We're sharing a vision of who you can become. And you, in turn, are inspiring and changing other people. But sometimes we sell ourselves short. Sometimes our thought process is, I'm not good enough. I can't see the world the way I think I can see it. And we sell ourselves short. So this first step to being bold, look at things differently. If you need to get up on a chair or a desk to remind yourself to do that, do it. But constantly think to yourself, I need to look at things differently. What does Rocky teach us? It's not about how much you hit, but how much you can take and keep moving forward. In fact, I prefer this quote from Martin Luther King. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But by all means, keep moving. Keep moving. There's power in keeping moving. What do we learn from Cinderella's mother? Have courage, my darling, and be kind. There's power in that. And then she says, and magic. There's a certain amount of magic to being kind. There's a certain amount of magic to being courageous. When you combine those two things, it's power. And it's a power that each of you has inside of you, and you just need to tap into it. Yes, it's a fairy tale. No, it's not a true story. But there's still power and magic in it. Have you ever been to Disneyland or Disney World and felt the magic kingdom? It actually feels magical. You have that magic. You have that power. You have that courage. And don't let somebody else take it away from you. Will Smith teaches us in this scene, he was saying to his son, give up your dream of being an NBA player because he couldn't make a basket and he's 5 years old. Who stole your dream from you? Did somebody step in and tell you you couldn't because they're wrong? You can. Don't give away your dream. And one of the ways you can give away your dream is by comparing you to somebody else. Oh, I'm not as smart as, I'm not as good as, I'm not as hardworking as, I'm not as somebody else. That's a lie. You're telling yourself lies. Stop it. Don't let somebody else define who you are and what your dreams are. Because you are more powerful than you believe. The Marianne Williamson quote that he's quoting from in this movie is so deep and so rich. Our deepest fear is not that we are powerless. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. I think that's true of all of us. And yet you have in you this innate power. Tap it. Reach into your heart, reach into your mind, reach into your experience. Whatever brought you to this point in your life, it's power. And of course, we learned from Daniel-san and Mr. Miyagi. He says in this clip, he says, it's okay to lose to an opponent. Must not, cannot, will not lose to fear. Being bold includes not being fearful. Being bold is reaching inside you, and at the end of that clip he says, your best karate is still inside of you. Time to let it out. You know, one of the defining characteristics of Olympic athletes is their belief that their best moment has not yet come. That the next race will be better. The next heat will be better. The next time in the swimming pool or the next time on the court will be better than the last time. Because they're always reaching forward. And they think, I have more in me. That belief that you have more in you is power. So combine all those things together and you get bold. Does that make sense? So now what do you do with that bold? I want to introduce you to a phrase. The phrase is BHAG. Say that with me, BHAG. You're all like, I don't know actually if I want to say that. That sounds really BHAG stands for Big, Hairy, Audacious Goal. Actually, I think the person who coined this term had a different A in mind when he said this. Just let that settle into your own heads how you're thinking about that. BHAG, Big, Hairy, Audacious Goal. So what is a BHAG? What's an example of a BHAG? When Steve Jobs created Apple Computer, he did not create Apple Computer to create computers. He said, I want to put a dent in the universe. Think about that goal for a minute. Starting a computer company from his garage, he said, I want to put a dent in the universe. I want to change the way people live. And you would have to say he was successful. We have a whole series of revolutionary ideas that came out of Apple Computer because his goal was not to make a computer. His goal was to put a dent in the universe. So I'd like to introduce you to two singular BHAGs. Our first BHAG, before I introduce this first BHAG, I want to teach you a word. The word is waitfulness. Say that with me. Waitfulness. Say it one more time. Waitfulness. It is the definition of being full of weight. It is a polite way of saying fat. Our goal is to eradicate waitfulness. We want to eliminate from the world the terrible scourge that is being too waitful. And we're going to use this hashtag end waitfulness. It is our mission not just to make some people feel better, but it's to make this scourge upon our society go away. Here's some interesting statistics. Say that 10 times fast from the stage. Interesting statistics. Look at waitfulness versus other challenges, and this in no way is meant to demean these other challenges. But roughly 84 million men and 78 million women in the United States are waitful. Compare that to 15.5 million people who currently have or have a history of cancer. It's somewhere on the order of 10 times the problem. Think about that for a minute. 10 times the problem. We have never had a health problem that has affected so many people as waitfulness, as extreme waitfulness. It is a serious issue, and it causes these other issues: diabetes, osteoarthritis, chronic kidney disease, and on down the line. You know, when you think about the challenges that you have, the health challenges that you bring to the table, when you are exceedingly waitful, you have a whole series of other things. When our goal is to eradicate waitfulness, we're not just saying we want to go after it a little bit, we want to solve this problem. And the interesting thing is, we're the best in the world at it. Most approaches to solving waitfulness approach just one or two issues. Sometimes they're dealing with metabolism rates, or a little more exercise, or trying to help you eat a little more healthy. Sometimes we're dealing with stress or a little bit of sleep. But no one but us is addressing all 15 points of weight loss failure. We are the only company in the world who approaches it this way, and you are the people who are helping that to happen. So if our number one goal, our number one BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal, is to eradicate wakefulness, a secondary goal to that one is to become the number one wakefulness solution in North America. We want to be number one. That was pretty weak. We want to be number one. Much better. What would number one look like? To be the number one wakefulness solution in North America, what would that look like? No other name on the planet. I like that. You're going to hear people talking about how important it is to use our name, because I've heard people say, you know, in 5 years, Zingler is just going to be a household name. But don't tell anybody the name. It's really hard to be a household name if you don't use the name. So we're going to say hashtag Zingular. Put it out there loud and proud. We are the best solution to the world's single largest health problem ever. What would it look like to become the number one weight loss solution? You may have seen some of our competitors in the news. The number one over-the-counter weight loss solution is a product called Hydroxycut. Anybody know have heard of Hydroxycut before? Solves one and only one wakefulness issue. Just one. And we're already bigger than Hydroxycut. As you go on that list, up the list, there are companies that you know. Some of them are our competitors. Some of them believe that you can get to be a wakeful solution by putting a little wrap around your belly. Good luck with that. Some of them think you can just stick a patch on your arm and not have to worry about anything. Good luck with that too. Go for it. Because while you're solving one problem or a half a problem, we're solving all 15 problems. Our solution is complete. So when your friends say, well, what company do you represent? Loud and proud, I represent Zingular. That's right, because that's who we are. We are Zingular. We are Zingular. An army of people destined to solve this problem. We have recruited you, and you are recruiting your friends and neighbors into an army of people designed to solve this problem. We're not going to solve this huge health problem with just a few of us. We need to gather a whole group of like-minded people who will love the way we love and work the way we work. They will have courage and be kind, and they will go after this problem in a meaningful way. Are you with me? Yes. Now, I'm a big fan of politics. Some of you know that. I've used this clip before, so those of you who've been to some of our events before have seen it, but if you haven't seen it, I want to show you this clip. Sorry, I skipped ahead of the slide. How are we arming our army? What are we giving you? Some people say, I don't know what I have. Let me give you an idea of what we have. We have an award-winning product line. 5 years in a row, Supply Side West, finalist for Product of the Year, won the thing last year, going to win it again this year. Award-winning product line. Is that enough? Well, just in case it's not enough, we have the world's best compensation plan. I was joking about this with some teams this morning. Instead of drawing circles and triangles and squares, and this is you. That's not us. Our compensation plan says get to work, and if you get to work, you're going to be able to have a business out of this. In fact, to make that a little more clear, we have the Passport program. We have Founders Club. We have the best member service on the planet. We have Headquarters Retreat. We have Sundance. We have 50K Getaway. We have Dubai. We have the Mentor Return Trip. We have Bora Bora. We have Mediterranean Cruise. We have Leadership Cash Awards. We have $500. And you know what some people will say with that whole long list of these amazing things we give you? You know what? If you do another BOGO, I'll really get started. You already have with you all of the tools you need. You have so many more tools than anybody else. You have more things at your disposal to help you, and you have you. You have a whole group of people. There were team meetings all over the place this morning. You are helping each other. You're helping each other to grow. You are doing more for each other than we could ever do for you. Don't wait. It's not time to be waiting. This is the time to be bold. It's the time to step forward. Now it's time for the video clip.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win, and the others too.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. What goal are we talking about? End wakefulness. End wakefulness. We want that problem, that scourge on our society, to go away. And we have the best solution to have it. This challenge is one that we're willing to accept and one we're unwilling to wait for, unwilling to postpone. We are here to establish a bold step forward where our goal, our number one BHAG, is to end wakefulness, to stop this scourge on humanity, and you're the army that's going to do it. So what are you waiting for? Come with us.